हमने वाइट शिपिंग एग्रीमेंट्स किए हैं, हमने दूसरे जो फ्यूजन सेंटर्स हैं उनके साथ एग्रीमेंट्स किए हैं, हमारे जो सर्वेलेंस एसेट्स हैं उनसे हम पूरी पिक्चर बना के रखते हैं। ये इस पिक्चर से ये जाहिर है कि फ़िशिंग ट्रैफिक जैसे चीन का और रिसर्च वेसल्स जो उनके डिप्लॉयमेंट्स हो रहे हैं, पर अभी तक कोई हमारे जो मैरीटाइम जोन्स में ऐसा कोई इनका इन्फ्रिंजमेंट नहीं हुआ। और हमारे पास एक स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर है, अगर कोई इन्फ्रिंजमेंट हो तो हम कैसे टैकल करें इस चीज़ को।
अजय बैनर्जी।
So good morning, sir. This way, to your left, sir. To your left, sir. So I'm Ajay Banerjee, work with the Tribune. In the past 6 months, there have been very important developments. India has signed logistics agreements with Japan, with Australia, to add to the agreement with the US. We have conducted a Malabar exercise. I'm stopping short of calling it a Quad exercise, but we have conducted an exercise which all the 4 Quad countries were there. So my question is two-pronged. One, where do you see the Quad going ahead? Do you see it as an anti-China force? Do you see it as all the 4 countries coming together? And also keep in mind the recent spat between the Australians and the Chinese over trade. So you think this kind of a grouping is, as a Navy Chief, do you think this grouping is cementing itself? And where do you see it in 10 years from now?
Actually, I am not qualified to answer on Quad. It's basically a construct of the External Affairs Ministry. But to quote what our External Affairs Minister has mentioned, that it's not against anybody, it's for something, and which is the free, open and inclusive Indian Ocean region. So, and I personally feel that the Quad will grow organically depending on the challenges that are posed. I would like to here differentiate between Quad and Malabar, because Malabar is an exercise which will be going on since 1992, and it is more of a professional exercise between navies, which we gain a lot by interacting professionally and in terms of interoperability and in terms of cooperation.
Siddhant Sibal.
Sir, regarding the same question regarding the Malabar exercise, will Australia remain a permanent member of the Malabar exercise next year as well, or is it just a one-off event when India invited Australia for the Malabar exercises? And also, second question on the situation at the LAC. During this time when the standoff continues, and it still continues, was there any attempt by the Chinese to indulge in some kind of misadventure in the Indian Ocean region as well?
See, the Malabar is based on invitation, and this year we invited the Royal Australian Navy. I am not ready to speculate as to what is going to happen next, but the fact is that the next Malabar will be hosted by the Australians, by the US. Will be not Australian, hosted by the US, and then we'll have to look at what decision the government of India takes on inclusion of Australia or not. As regards the issue of Chinese actions, I would, this is an ongoing situation. What is happening there, I personally would not like to, would not like to comment on this till such time this situation is resolved, because the nuts and bolts of what is going on as a professional force, it's not good to speak about this when the situation is still ongoing.
Manjeet Negi.
सर, जैसे आपने अपने शुरुआती भाषण में बोला कि नॉर्दर्न बॉर्डर पर चीन की तरफ से जो कोशिश की जा रही है, और समंदर में हमने पहले भी देखा कि चीन साउथ चाइना सी में जिस तरह की कोशिशें करता है, खासतौर से नॉर्दर्न बॉर्डर पर जो इस वक्त लद्दाख में जो गतिविधियां चल रही हैं, भारतीय सेना जिस तरह से उसका मुकाबला कर रही है, नौसेना की भूमिका किस तरह से रही है, कुछ उसकी डिटेल आप बता सकते हैं? और जो चैलेंज अभी तक बना हुआ है उससे निपटने में नौसेना की क्या भूमिका रही है और क्या होगी?
थैंक यू। मैं डिटेल्स तो नहीं बता सकता, पर ये मैं बता सकता हूँ कि जो नौसेना है वो जो भी एक्टिविटी कर रही है it is in close coordination and synergy with the Army and the Air Force to produce or the desired results. इतना मैं बता सकता हूँ.
Colonel Sharma.
Sir, you made a mention of unmanned platforms and increasing surveillance and the facilities that we are creating in India. Now, there's a quite revolution in military affairs that is taking place. As far as land systems and land platforms are concerned, there have been these conflicts in Syria and Nagorno-Karabakh where we learned some lessons. As far as the maritime domain is concerned, there will be no force-on-force action as such. At the same time, we are also building a lot of capability and capacity within the country, as you just said, sir, and Navy is leading the charge in that. But my fear is that maybe we are building a capability and a capacity which might be a little outdated. I'm sure the Navy has some mechanism within the service to ensure that we keep pace with this revolution in military affairs. Can you throw some light on that?
That's a very valid point, and we are closely studying all that is happening around us, whether it's Nagorno-Karabakh or the attacks on the Aramco refineries and various issues. And definitely we as a service, we have to be very cognizant of what is happening around us, and therefore when we build our capabilities, we definitely, or capacities, we definitely take this into account. We recently have done a little bit of introspection into our maritime capabilities perspective plan, which is being issued, and a lot of focus has gone into future technologies, unmanned solutions, as I mentioned, networking, etc. Keeping in mind the kind of threats that are envisaged in future.
Srinjoy.
Sir, times now. So on the 25th of September, US P-8 landed and refueled in the Andamans. In the wake of what is happening in Ladakh, what kind of message, was this a kind of message that we are looking at? And also, sir, the Navy is a relatively small organization, just few thousand officers, few places.
I'll only answer your first question. That is about the P-8 landing in Port Blair. So, we have signed the LIMOA, we've signed a lot of logistics agreement with other, and these are expected to be utilized by the ships and aircraft. And we've been holding the Milan set of exercises for a long time in Andamans. So it's just a progression of the utilization of the LIMOA. You would be, I'm sure you are aware that our ships, when they are patrolling off the Gulf of Aden, we take fuel from the US tankers. Similarly, when we had Malabar this time, we had gave fuel to the Australian Navy, the Japanese, and the US Navy. So this is, navies are meant to have reach and sustainability, and having such agreements like the operational turnaround agreements helps each navy increase its reach and sustainability in the area of interest.
Dinakar.
So, Dinak Peri with the Hindu, friends saying the Navy has also conducted operations near the LAC, and reference to P-8I across the length and breadth of the Indian Ocean region as well. So, in that reference, can you elaborate on the kind of, without getting into the sensitive details, but what has been the Navy's role on the LAC? Because there have been AUCINT handles also plotting the Navy, the P-8I's course along the borders, and
Sort of very potent platform. We've been using it for surveillance over the seas. It has certain equipment which can be used over the borders, and based on the requirements of the Army and Air Force, we had deployed the PADI, several occasions during this particular situation. We've also deployed the male, that is the Heron, from one of the northern bases. So this is about how much I can share with you.
Rajiv Ranjan.
सर राजीव रंजन एनडीटीवी इंडिया। मेरा सवाल है कि लास्ट वीक जो मिग 29 के क्रैश हुआ था, तो जो पायलट जो थी जो मिसिंग है, क्या पीएलबी के बारे में कुछ खबर है? बीकन लोकेट हो पाया? कुछ ट्रांसमिशन मिला? बीकन काम भी कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है? क्या पानी के अंदर वो काम कर सकता है या सरफेस में काम कर सकता है? कुछ अगर इसके बारे में बता सकें।
तो मिग 29 का क्रैश हुआ था, उसका जो सोनार लोकेटर बीकन है वो तो काम कर रहा है, और उससे ही हमारे शिप्स जाके उन्होंने रैकेज रिकवर कर लिया है। मोस्ट ऑफ द रैकेज इज बीन रिकवर्ड। अभी जो 2 सीट हैं उसमें फॉरवर्ड सीट
हैं, क्या पीएलबी के बारे में कुछ खबर है? बीकन लोकेट हो पाया? कुछ ट्रांसमिशन मिला? बीकन काम भी कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है? क्या पानी के अंदर वो काम कर सकता है या सरफेस में काम कर सकता है? कुछ अगर इसके बारे में बता सकें।
तो मिग 29 का क्रैश हुआ था, उसका जो सोनार लोकेटर बीकन है वो तो काम कर रहा है, और उससे ही हमारे शिप्स जाके उन्होंने रैकेज रिकवर कर लिया है। मोस्ट ऑफ द रैकेज इज बीन रिकवर्ड। अभी जो 2 सीट हैं उसमें फॉरवर्ड सीट जो पायलट थे जो मिसिंग हैं उनकी, और आफ्ट सीट जिसमें जो को पायलट थे, तो आफ्ट सीट मिल गई है। आपको मालूम है को पायलट तो सेफ हैं, जो फॉरवर्ड सीट है वो अभी तक मिली नहीं है। और जो पीएलबी जिसकी आप चर्चा कर रहे हैं वो पायलट ऑपरेट करता है, तो इसका पता नहीं हमको कि whether the pilot has been able to operate the PLB. Unless he operates it, it will not come. So जो पहला था वो तो पिकअप हो गया इमीडिएटली, उसको ऑपरेट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी। दूसरे का अभी वी आर स्टिल सर्चिंग एंड होपिंग फॉर द बेस्ट। जी, पानी के अंडर वाटर नहीं, ऊपर काम करता है। जो अंडर वाटर होता है वो सोनार लोकेटर बीकन होता है, क्योंकि अंडर वाटर ओनली साउंड वेव्स ट्रैवल।
Manish Jha.
Sir, this is Manish Jha from Business World. Sir, I seek further clarification on Quad. I understand you said it comes under the jurisdiction of External Affairs Minister, but then Quad has been covered so widely in media. There has been a massive press coverage, and that lends to so much of ambiguity about that. First, and for that, Navy has not been forthcoming on this, basically. Having said that, we say we are the net security provider. We have a saga. So we have a concern, our neighborhood has a concern. For example, Sri Lanka said, there's a lot of militarization in the Indian Ocean region. There any time there are about 100 warships are there. My question to you, how will India ensure that Indian Navy lead in the Quad and provide and be as a net security provider? Could you lend some say clarification on this basically? This is a concern for our neighborhood as well. And second question, sir, seeing
So I request you to stick to the first one.
Okay, and second question, if you could answer, in the Chinese belligerence, what is the update on SSN program, nuclear program of India?
So thank you for your question. I'll request that any question related to special projects and special forces be left outside the scope of this meeting. Thanks.
Actually, Quad is the Navy is not involved. It is a construct which doesn't have Navy in it. Actually, it's a maritime security is there in that. So I'm not able. That's why I'm not able to answer, because I'm not the authority who deals with this officially. As far as net security provider is concerned, we do not like to call it net security provider. We like to call it preferred security partner. And our aim is exactly this: that when the neighborhood first is our focus, and the second focus is that all of us, like Sagar has a tide, all of us rise with the rising tide, and I don't see any country around us that should feel threatened by us. We are actually security partners in this region.
संदीप बोल.
सर संदीप न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से. सर मेरे दो सवाल है. पहला ये कि कुछ रिपोर्ट्स आई थी कि पेंगोंग में मार्कोस की डिप्लॉयमेंट की गई है इस दौरान. क्या ये रिपोर्ट सही है? और दूसरा सवाल ये कि इस वक्त इंडियन ओशन रीजन में चाइनीज़ वॉरशिप की प्रेजेंस कितनी है? क्या ये बड़ी है? और पाकिस्तान की तरफ कितना है इसका मूवमेंट?
जी, जो मार्कोस हैं ये हमारे स्पेशल फोर्सेस हैं और ये बहुत ही दे आर वेरी केपेबल फोर्सेस. पर जो हम स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस की बात कभी नहीं करते. मैं तो हमारे स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस की बात विद इन नेवल हेडक्वार्टर्स भी नहीं होती. दूसरा जो चाइनीज़ का प्रेजेंस है वो अभी 3 शिप इनके गल्फ ऑफ एडन में एंटी पायरेसी पेट्रोल 2008 से कर रहे हैं. और अभी एज ऑफ नाउ these are the only 3 warships that are present in the Indian Ocean region.
Manu Pabi.
Sir, Manu Pabi from Economic Times. Sir, this year has been difficult in terms of finances also. We have seen a resource crunch. I wanted to ask you, sir, how do you plan this year on meeting your obligations or payments to foreign vendors? Are you contemplating different financial models like something on the line of the Railway Finance Corporation where you can borrow money from the banks? And I mean, will this financial constraint hit our plans for, say, a third aircraft carrier which has been in the works for a long time? And will we expect to see the RFP for the submarine program as well on track this year?
I think this question was asked earlier about the resource envelope. We are fully cognizant of the situation post-COVID, and we are quite hopeful that the economy is going to bounce back very quickly. So, whatever resource envelope is given, we have to factor that and make sure that we prioritize our maritime capabilities perspective plan procurements to meet our requirements. Here, when we prioritize, we are looking, like I mentioned, at areas which like ordnance delivery, networking, unmanned solutions. And here again, the indigenization is helping us, because if we found that we can get certain equipment, etc., at a lower price through the indigenous route. As far as the revenue is concerned, the main focus is on our spares and inventory holding, which we are working on very aggressively to make sure that we have a smart inventory, and inventory carrying costs are less. We also approached the Ministry of Finance with some funding models, like you mentioned, especially for the shipbuilding, the shipyards. Those are still under discussion, and if they come through, then possibly we'll be able to provide little better liquidity to these shipyards. But this is still under consideration.
Madhurendra.
Submarine program is on track. We've identified shortlisted the OEM and the strategic partners, and we are going to the DAC now, and then thereafter we hope to issue going to DAC as soon the next DAC, and then we'll issue the RFP for the 75 India.
सर मधुरेन फ्रॉम न्यूज़ नेशन. मेरा सवाल नॉन कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग वॉरफेयर को लेकर है. जो करंट सिचुएशन और सिनेरियो है उसमें उसके इम्पोर्टेंस को काफ़ी बढ़ता हुआ हम देख रहे हैं. नॉन कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग वॉरफेयर,
नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट वॉरफेयर.
तो उस दिशा में नेवी की क्या तैयारी है? किस तरह से हम इस चैलेंज को देख रहे हैं और इसे टैकल करने के लिए हमारे आगे के प्रोग्राम्स चल रहे हैं?
आप जरा नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट
लाइक यूज ऑफ यूएवी, लाइक यूज ऑफ ड्रोन्स, और उसके जरिए जो करंट सिनेरियो वॉर का दिखाई दे रहा है, उसमें नेवी की क्या तैयारियां हैं?
जी, हम पहले से ही हमारे पास अनमैन्ड सोल्यूशन पे हमने काफ़ी फोकस डाला हुआ है पहले से. आप जानते ही होंगे, हमारे पास अनमैन्ड एरियल व्हीकल्स हैं, हमारे पास ऑर्डिनेंस डिस्पोजल के लिए अनमैन्ड सिस्टम्स हैं, हमारे पास जो टारगेट्स हैं वो भी अनमैन्ड टारगेट्स हैं. पर ये हमारा डेफिनेट फोकस एरिया है. और जो हमने अभी जो लीज पे लिए हैं, जो hails. This is also one movement in that direction. So this is definitely one of our focus areas for, because the इसका expense भी कम है और इसकी utility भी कई tasks में it can do much better than manned platforms.
Krishan Kaushik.
Hi, sir.
और जो एंटी ड्रोन की बात कर रहे हो आप, एंटी ड्रोन वी आर प्रोक्योरिंग सम इक्विपमेंट फॉर एंटी ड्रोन टू प्रिवेंट ड्रोन्स फ्रॉम अटैकिंग अस.
Sir, to your right, sir.
जैसे it's called Smash 2000 I think. Smash 2000 राइफल्स हैं जिससे वो ड्रोन्स को टारगेट कर सकते हैं.
Sir, to your right. Hi, sir. Krishan Kaushik from the Indian Express. So I have two questions actually. First, like we have already discussed, like the P-8I was used along the northern borders. Have any other naval assets been pressed into service on the northern borders, including fighter jets? And I have another question, which is about.
So I'll request you to stick to the one. We'll come back to you again.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, the P-8I and the UAVs were used. No, fighters are not.
Mukesh Kaushik.
See, first of all, this case is sub judice, so I'm not going to comment on this case as per se. But we've been having women officers in our academy since the 1990s, and we have trained women officers for a very long time. There are very high standards that we attach to our training, both as far as the moral fiber is concerned, the discipline and professional training. So anybody who doesn't meet the requirements or fails in those requirements has to then perforce be penalized for it. And as far as this particular case is concerned, we will not talk about it because it's now in court.
Snehesh.
And also the punishment is same irrespective of whether you are a male or a female.
Hi sir, Snehesh Philip here from the print. So you mentioned about the P-75 India program that will come up, but the other two big programs that are there is the naval utility helicopters. On that, sir, what is the development and does the HAL helicopter make the cut? And also, sir, on the third aircraft carrier that the Navy plans, the government seems not to be so interested in this third aircraft carrier. What is the Navy stand? Is Navy still hopeful, sir?
Okay, the NUH program which you are alluding to was one of the two strategic partnership programs that we've taken up. And you know the whole philosophy of the strategic partnership model is to encourage the private industry to come up and so that we avoid the monopoly that existed with the DPSUs. So we are, as a Navy, we are focusing on trying to make sure that this strategic partnership model for the NUH succeeds. AON is already with us. We have to go back now to the government for shortlisting of the SPs and the OEM. And I think your question was on third aircraft. Now, as a Navy, we are absolutely clear. I mean, we haven't yet gone to the government for the third aircraft carrier, but as Navy, we are very clear that that of the utility of the carrier. We are very clear that because air operations are absolutely integral to naval operations, air power at sea is absolutely required, and it is not. It is required here and now, that kind of air power. And like I mentioned earlier to you, the navies are all about reach and sustenance. If you are a nation that is aspirational, you want to become a 5 trillion economy shortly, you have 1/5 of the world's population, young population, and you want to do well, you will have to go outwards, seek the world, you will have to move out. And I, for one, and the Navy does not want to be a Navy that is tethered to the shore. Because future warfare, it has to be about joint planning and joint force application. So therefore, we are very keen. and it is also a mandate of the DMA and the CDS. And we are totally on board. We have a team, a joint services team headed by the Vice Chief of Naval Staff, who is looking at the broad contours of the Maritime Theatre Command. If you remember, we've always been keen, and that's why the Andaman Nicobar Command was set up as a tri-service command. So the Andaman Nicobar would also form part of the Maritime Theatre Command. This is how much I can tell you at the moment. The discussions are on. Finally, the true shape of the Maritime Theatre Command will take place after some time.
Ms. Uma.
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. I want to know how well prepared is the Indian Navy to deal with anything which is underwater. Also, what would be the status of the predators which you have requested for 10 and you have leased 2? So what happens to those? As in when?
Thank you. I understand you are asking about underwater.
Underwater, how would you? The Chinese are present. They have the underwater aerial vehicles moving around. So are you prepared to deal with that?
No, this underwater domain awareness and underwater capability is a very key focus area of mine and of the Navy. And we are really focusing hard on getting more underwater domain awareness and being able to do war fighting in the underwater space. The P8I has been a great force enabler, and once the MH-60Rs come in, they would also be able to help out greatly in this particular domain. We are also going in for upgrade of some of the helicopters, the Kamo 28, which is already in progress. After they come back, they will be far more potent for underwater. As far as the predators are concerned, Sea Guardians, so they are, this is only a lease for a couple of years. The case for 30 HALES, joint case of the Army, Navy and Air Force is being progressed now, and the aim is to get the Predator. This is the one which we are using is a pre-production model. The one which we will get will be a much more potent platform with underwater ASW capabilities also.
Sandeep.
Morning, sir. Sandeep Punithan, India Today magazine. So it's been nearly a year since the appointment of the first Chief of Defence Staff and the creation of the Department of Military Affairs. How do you see it from the perspective of the Navy? Has it speeded up decision making? Has it improved the efficiency? Has it brought about jointmanship? What's your perspective on this, sir?
No, it's a very welcome step that has taken place, and yes, the CDS and DMA have no choice. They have been mandated to bring in jointmanship, and that is happening at a very rapid pace. It's still evolving, the DMA and CDS, and we are very hopeful that we will be able to progress our cases as a Navy and have our interests, maritime interests, being attended to by this new organization. We are very, very optimistic about the CDS and the DMA.
Pradeep Sagar.
Sir, in reply to Snehish's question on the third aircraft carrier, you said you haven't gone to the government on it. Any specific reason for that, sir?
No, we just prepare. See, before we go to the government, we have to get certain of our parameters right. So we'll do that. We sent out an RFI for certain information. Once we have all that collated, then we'll go in for the AON.
Vishal Thapar.
Good afternoon, sir. What is the revised figure for fleet levels under the Maritime Capability Perspective Plan under the changed circumstances? And these new procurement models, which include lease, is there a possibility of procuring more assets either under lease or on loan?
I'm sorry, maybe because of the mask I couldn't hear the first part. What are the revised figures?
So for fleet levels under the revised maritime capability perspective plan, and the second part of it was that these new procurement models which permit lease and is there a possibility of more assets being acquired either through lease or through loans?
See, the plans are there for 175 ship navy, but the fact is what we know is the kind of the speed of construction, the resource envelope. Our aim is to put more bang for the buck into each platform that we get. And like I mentioned to you, through networking, through unmanned systems, and MCPP is constantly re-evaluated based on, somebody brought out the new threats that are new dimensions of threats that come in. So it's always a kind of work in progress to achieve the final goal, but it takes its own time. The DAP 20 is very helpful, and there are very good clauses in that. One of them, of course, is the lease option, and the critical capabilities. If we find that there's too much of a gap in attaining them, we can use this lease capability. We've used the lease for the HALE, as I mentioned earlier. We've also used the lease for doing logistics of the Lakshadweep, our bases in the Lakshadweep Islands also.
Bipindra.
Sir, Bipindra from Defence Capital here, sir. This is a follow-on question to what Sandeep had asked about the CDS and the DMA that has been set up. Since it's 1 year since this post was created, I just want to understand if it has changed the manner in which the three services headquarters function, and if there are, if all the friction points that existed earlier have been sorted out in some manner, or is it helping in sorting out those friction points that were there, the conflict of interest that were there among the three services, and how it has helped or not helped, in jointness, if you could just elaborate on that.
The short answer is it has helped. I mean, there are various instances, difficult to recount, but the fact is that we've been able to address the problems head on and taken certain difficult decisions we've been able to take and move on in terms of joint venture. In fact, the theatre commands, the National Air Defence Command, the Maritime Theatre Command, these are all moves to future-proof our services in terms of being much more combat ready and credible. It has helped.
Ranjit.
Ranjit Kumar sir, regarding future acquisition of 6 more submarines, do you have any fixed timeline on which you are working? Because the program has already been delayed a lot.
Fastest.
What is the timeline during which you can acquire?
We will move as quickly as possible. In fact, our team is working very proactively to because the strategic partnership is a complex process, and this is the first case which is ahead now. So we are working, burning midnight oil and making sure that we get this thing as soon as possible.
Saurabh Joshi.
Sir, you're right. Saurabh Joshi from Stratpost. I wanted to ask you about the Navy's plans for the acquisitions of new fighters. What is the progress, and how much does your final case for the third aircraft carrier depend on the selection of the aircraft? Thank you.
We have got the MiG-29s presently, which are operating from, and they'll operate from the Vikramaditya and the IAC. Meanwhile, to replace the MiG-29s, we have taken up a case for the MRCBF, which we are trying to do along with the Indian Air Force. But a new development has been the TEDBF, the Twin Engine Deck Based Fighter, which the DRDO has offered us, ADA and DRDO and us. So we are working together to make sure if that happens, then we will have a indigenous deck based fighter for the Navy. A lot of lessons have been learnt in the LCA Mark 1 program, and things like the arrestor hook and the undercarriage, etc. And more lessons are being learnt. We've got an SBTF in this shore-based test facility in Goa through that. And my hope is that the twin-engine deck-based fighter would be able to enter service sometime in the early 2030s.
So we'll have the last question now. Sushil Sharma.
सर सुशील शर्मा फ्रॉम डिफेंस मॉनिटर मैगजीन, हिंदी मैगजीन। सर आपको याद होगा लास्ट ईयर भी मैंने एक सवाल किया था एनसीएमबी को लेकर कि हमारे हार्डवेयर, हम हाई वैल्यू हार्डवेयर इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं, बट हमारे पास में उनको बचाने के लिए, सुरक्षित रखने के लिए कोई भी ऐसे एमसीएमबी नहीं है, माइन काउंटर मेजर वेसल्स नहीं है। और आपको मैंने ये भी कहा था कि शायद नेवी कुछ जुगाड़ करके ये काम चला रही, तो आप फंसे थे और आपने कहा था कि हम जल्दी कुछ करने जा रहे हैं। तो इसमें क्या हुआ? और दूसरी, जैसे कि कोविड की वजह से रिसोर्स सेम क्वेश्चन रिसोर्स की वजह से या पैसे की कमी की वजह से आपके प्रोक्योरमेंट प्रोग्राम पे भी असर पड़ा है प्रोसेस के ऊपर में। तो अभी कुछ जो आपने इनिशिएटिव लिया है लीज का, इसके बारे में आपने अकोला भी लीज पे लिया था, एयरफोर्स भी मीडिया रिफिलर ले रही है, और अभी जैसे आपको नेवल यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है, तो क्यों नहीं प्री ओन्ड असेट्स हम लीज पर लें, ताकि हमारे पैसे की जो कमी है वो भी आड़े नहीं आए और नेवी के लिए काम भी बनता रहे। तो अभी जैसे आपने अकोला भी लिया है, तो एनसीएमबी भी और आपके यूटिलिटी हेलीकॉप्टर्स के बारे में क्या कुछ लीज का ऑप्शन हो सकता है?
Actually, all options are open. अगर we find that there is a difficulty, then we can use the lease option. Your point is well taken. Yeah, any equipment, whether it's MCMV or UAV or NUH, anything, we can explore the lease option.
Sir, to your left, sir, Ajay Banerjee, just a clarification. Sir, we have been getting, your media person has been giving press notes about INS bars in the past 6 months. The recent was a few weeks ago. Sir, is the bars being expanded? Can you tell us? Is it possible?
There are plans for bars, both for ships and aircraft.
Thank you, sir. As we wind up, I would also take this approach. Dispatch is also being released today as a Navy-wide professional journal, and a copy of this journal will be handed over to you before you depart.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें, और हाँ, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें, ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए न्यूज़ 24।